Welcome along to EXFL Tier 2 Season 12. We are here for the finale. It's round 20 out of 20 at Sao Paulo. It's the Brazilian Grand Prix. And as you can see, it is absolutely pouring down here at the start of qualifying. This entire season, we've only seen one rain-affected session, and that was Singapore 6 weeks ago in qualifying, where we had conditions similar to this, but maybe not as treacherous as this. It was pretty much interlevel. But this, anything goes at the moment. It is probably the heaviest you can possibly see in terms of rain. The only rain we've ever had in a race setting, though, this season was the last 2 or 3 laps of Silverstone at the halfway mark. But we didn't need the inters. They all managed to finish on the dries. But yes, we are here. The 20th and final race of the season. And both championships will be decided tonight. Right then, the drivers are heading out. I'm sure barely any, if not any, have done any practice in the wet. We've got 16 drivers for tonight. Tub Lobster maybe would be a 17th, but I don't know if he'll join. So for now, 16. As practically half the cars are out there on the track. Most on wet compound tyres, a few on inters, as it seems to be the same. Trialling out. Trialing out the conditions then. So, here are the stakes for tonight's finale. The Drivers' Championship is between Oran and Samurai. Samurai, who, after the Belgian Grand Prix at the 12th race, was 43 points behind Oran. And in the last 7 races, has gained 50 points on him to go into this race for the first time since Imola in round 6, leading the championship. Oran has led it for the majority, but he's lost the lead heading into the finale. The gap is 7 points, meaning it is a winner-takes-all situation. Oran has 7 wins this season. Samurai has 3. Samurai has been the more consistent driver to be able to take the lead in the championship by the end, but Oran can deliver when he needs to. Some amazing poles and wins over the course of his career in Tier 2. And he's no stranger to being good in wet conditions as well. Oran, 16 wins, 15 poles in his illustrious Tier 2 career. But obviously, he goes into today wanting the thing he wants most ever since he joined EXFL, which is to become a champion. And for today, I'm sure the laps will just keep going quicker and quicker. They'll probably fuel themselves a bit. As we see Samurai, the championship leader, out on track now. 7-point gap with 1 race to go. He's poured so much effort and work into this, but I'm sure a wet quali was not what he was expecting. But it is Brazil. Anything can happen, and it usually does. And it has thrown up a curveball already at the start of qualifying. So that is the drivers' stakes right now. Samurai 7 points ahead of Oran, and if they are level on points, Oran will win, meaning it is a winner-takes-all situation. As for the Constructors' Championship, Aston Martin lead by 19 points ahead of Williams. Most of the season it's been ahead of RB, but Williams managed to pip RB by 1 point after last week's race. So they're 19 behind Aston and RB are 20 behind Aston. However, as you may see, there is 1 RB and 1 Williams in the field, and there are 2 Aston Martins, pretty much meaning Aston have 1 hand on that trophy already. So, for Oran's sake, he will probably still be walking away here with winning something. For Samurai's sake, he did win the Constructors last season with Williams and wants to go one better with the drivers. But both of these drivers have shown their skills all season, and both deserve it. But now we've just got to see who's the better. As we see, they're both right next to each other on the track, actually. 20.4 first sector, 20.1 first sector for Samurai and Oran respectively. Both of them still haven't set a lap time yet. But right now, Yannick is the quickest, 1.5 seconds clear of Callum, who was a star in Singapore quali, the only other rain-affected session we've had all season, where he just missed out on pole to his teammate by 600ths. It looks like Oren's going pretty better than Samurai at the moment. He's actually closing up to the Williams as they finish their first lap. So Samurai will cross the line then, put his Williams P2, and Oren will cross the line to put himself on provisional pole by just under 3/10. So Yannick at the moment slotting in the middle of the two title protagonists. And to clear up what happened last week with the points and whatnot, Birdie did end up getting his 3-second time penalty removed. He did get one of his warnings glitched with the pit entry. He finished third originally on track as Christian's already out in the pit lane and out of the session. He's the slowest time at the moment, so he could probably start this race from last in P16. At the moment, he's 12th. But yeah, Birdie got his warning removed. He only got 3 overall, so his 3-second pen also got removed, putting him from 5th back up to the podium. And obviously, Birdie is not here today. He's on holiday. So he left it late. The last opportunity all season for Birdie to get a podium, but he finally did it right at the end there. Right, even after the race, he got it. So that really did propel Williams with a 2nd and 3rd place finish to Aston's and RB's getting 6th and 7th and 8th and 10th overall, I think. Which, I mean, Williams have really given it a real good go. They were 80-odd points behind, and then because of Birdie and Samurai's momentum kicking in even more, they closed up so much. And they got close, but it wasn't quite enough. So unless something crazy happens, where Yannick or Samurai win, pretty much, and both the Astons have a genuinely terrible race, Aston look like they're going to win this. That was the debate all week of... That was probably the easiest thing to predict. In terms of the drivers, it literally could swing either way, because we went into last season's finale, 1 point between Adam and Kobe, and all race, the pendulum kept swinging between the two of who was going to win it. And the one who led heading in was the one who led after it was all well and done. But we've seen in the past, sometimes the runner-up can win in the final race. It's a flip of a coin. But right now, they are right next to each other on track. But you know what? Yannick is really showing some very impressive pace right now. Look at the top 3 compared to Callum. He's a whole second and a bit behind Samurai, but he's found 3.5 in the first sector. Oren is going for another run. He's currently finishing the middle sector, up by just over 1/10 as he slides into the final actual corner you have to worry about, and the climb up the hill. But Yannick right now, 1 pole to his name a few weeks ago in Vegas, where he was on the front row with Grush, who is still yet to set a lap time. Currently on provisional poles again. Unfortunately, didn't convert that into a first win. Yannick's still waiting for that first win, but he's definitely had a few podiums to his name, which is great. So we see Dello up there now in 4th, and Grush exiting the pit lane now. So, this being round 20, Grush and Oren are tied for the most poles this season. They both have 6 each. Yannick has 1, Samurai has 2, Dello has 3, as he's up slightly again, so they're just doing constant laps. The gaps will obviously be a bit bigger in the wet compared to the dry. Toby says he's home, so with just over 9 minutes to go, Toby might be able to join. I'm being told the race weather is fully dry, so we're going to go a whole season without seeing inters in a dry race, in a race in general, actually. But yeah, a little bit of rain right at the end as Callum went ahead of Samurai. So Aston, I mean, they tried this a little in the last quarter of the season to try and use both Astons against Samurai and Birdie, but most of the time it's been 2 Williams versus 1 Aston. But this time around, it looks like they're trying to use everything they possibly can with Callum at their disposal. Obviously, Callum and Samurai had an incident in Vegas on the opening lap, which dropped Samurai down a bit. I'm sure they'll still play fair, hopefully. If Callum is able to help Oren out in any way, Samurai obviously needs to overcome that, be clever. And there's Toby, so he will have 17. That's good to know. So, Yannick absolutely flying in that pink and white RB. Climbs up the hill, and he's about to dip into the 1 minute 19s at this rate. So Yannick stealing the show a bit now from the championship. Yes, technically his team is still in a fight with the constructors, but he wants to win for the first time in Tier 2. Wouldn't that be a great way to end the season for him, as he goes even quicker and goes off at turn 1. So I'm pretty sure he was very satisfied with that lap, giving absolutely everything. Let's have a look further down, though. We see Cal and Simon, 6th and 7th. That's good respective times from them, until Deadgun goes up to P5. These drivers who have loomed around the top 10, just outside the top 10 for a lot of this season, making the most of it in this final qualifying to get themselves well within the top 10, but are still waiting on a few other drivers to get some lap times. And you can see the rain is still very heavy around the circuit. We got Dubs crossing the line, V-Dubs, now IOR Dubs, of Gareth crossing the line in 8th to knock Cal and Simon, who were once 5th and 6th, now down to the end of the top 10 as Cookster is P5 and up slightly in the first sector once again. We got Fnatic probably just doing constant laps. He's on the wet compound tyres as everyone ahead of him, bar, I think, was that Simon? No, Dubs on the Inters. As crossing the line is Grush to cut himself P5 for McLaren. McLaren versus Mercedes for 5th in the standings as well. 11 points between them. Grush and Christian versus, well, Dubs and Dello for today. It'll probably be Grush versus Dello and then Dubs versus Christian. Lower on we got 2 Saubers. Nathan is racing for the first time in a while. But he's had pretty good moments around here in Brazil in the past. That P3 quite a few years ago. In season, it was 5 or 6. But he's here in the Sauber. Looks keen to stay there for Audi, as he shows a bit of interest there. But yeah, Toby and the Haas looking to finish the season strong. There is a fight in the championship in the drivers for 4th as well. 4th, 5th and 6th between Yannick and the 2 Haas cars. Fnatic, being the star of the second half of the season, has put himself right in the middle of that fight. So Yannick is 9 points ahead of Fnatic, who is 1 point ahead of his teammate of Toby. So the 2 Haas cars separated by 1 point, and then Yannick just trying to hang on, as Grush last week confirmed himself as 3rd in the standings. But right now, the top 2 in the World Championship, still 4th and 2nd, with just over 5 minutes to go. Grush improves his lap time a little bit, knocks Samurai down to 5th, who's currently on an out lap right now. Samurai and Dello, who were too early in Singapore to set their lap times. They didn't get a run in right at the end, and it really did cost them. However, in the race, they did manage to be aggressive at the start, make up some good ground. Samurai ended up hitting the wall and getting damaged. Dello just fell away a little bit after the first half, but then he came back to win the race, his first race win in Singapore. So you never know what could happen. It's always been around the 5th to 9th range in these last however many races. Whoever starts around here usually ends up winning the race, and most of the time it's Fnatic, just because of his tyre management. With 36 laps, that's certainly going to require some good tyre management. But riding aboard with the championship leader then, finishing the first sector split down by 67 thousandths into the Ciudad del Lago of turn 4 and 5, getting on the power, usually flat in the dry. It's all about building the confidence, but right now, this qualifying is shaking things up. Samurai just has to dig deep to find that lap time. Qualifying's one thing, the race could be a completely different, because right now, if Oren were to qualify 2nd and Samurai 5th, and they were to finish where they qualified, which usually never happens in Tier 2, Oren would be champion by 1 point. Samurai trying to use up all that hard work and effort, as now he's found some time in the middle, to become a champion. Oren, a bit of a different story. He's on a redemption strike from Season 9, 1.5 years ago, trying not to lose out on another title. Samurai will cross the line, should be near Grush. Can it get ahead of Callum? No, he can't even get ahead of Grush. He actually didn't even improve by that much, so he lost some time on the final corner. There was 3.5 and a bit more in it, but then he lost nearly all of it. As Cooks has gone up to third while all that was happening, putting even more cars between the Williams and Oren. Oren, who after the Dutch Grand Prix 7 weeks ago, just hasn't really had a great amount of consistent, great results. The only good result he's had in the race was, I guess, Singapore when he finished second. But besides that, he's not finished in the top 5 once, 6ths and 8ths and whatnot. A few poles here and there like Mexico. But right now, it's looking good. But obviously Oren will be setting his sights as the two Alpines put a bit of pressure on the back of Samurai on the third row. But he's going quicker again, 4.5 tenths up. So this is well from over as we see Cookster going off there, just getting out of the way, causing yellow. So we don't actually know how long's left of the session. Yannick will be going out for one more run right at the end. Oren's still got to find a chunk of time there, but with the track building a bit more of a line, as you can see there, who knows? This could be anyone's for the taking. Samurai this time has found a lot more time. This time, can he keep it? Run up to the line. It's a 1 minute 20.005, and that puts him onto the front row, crucially ahead of his rival, who now begins his next run. And as soon as these yellows clear, we can see how long's left of the session, because I don't think there's that long left. My guess is about 2 minutes. So Oren knows he's got to give it everything. And once again, they find themselves quite near each other on track. First set to split. He's up by a lot of time, nearly 4 tenths. Oren, no stranger to pole positions. He's got the joint record with the Season 7 champion for most poles in Tier 2 of 15. He's looking to make it 16 to make it level with his wins. He knows he needs the win more than Samurai today. If someone else wins, let's say Yannick right now because he's on provisional pole, then it helps Samurai out more than Oren of the 7 points, with the points of second down to about 5th, because that's probably where they'll be. But Yannick on his outlap, a lot of people now beginning their final runs. We've still got yellows because I think Simon's causing them up to the line. That'll clear and we'll find out the time soon. Oren's up by a whole second by the middle sector. He's absolutely flying. Is the Aston Martin getting on the power as early as possible. The slides showing how desperately he wants this. And the line will come up and another pole position greets him. Samurai's in the pit lane. So this means Oren will out-qualify his rival. Oren's on provisional pole then, and Samurai can only do third at best. And he's in the pits. And has he done what he did in Singapore by just doing a lap time too early when others are still on laps? Yannick, I think he's slightly off Oren in the first sector. He did an 8. Yannick did a 9. What about Cookster and Callum and maybe even Grush? We'll see, but for now, Oren has laid down his marker as Cal is out in P9. Simon's done in 10th. The session is over. As we see more and more drivers crossing the line. The 2 Haas cars at the back will be getting ready soon. Callum has out-qualified Samurai. Oren's teammate demotes Samurai one more position. Grush goes to P5. And now we'll await to see probably the only driver who can stop Oren today, who's up by even more time. So what can Yannick do? He's getting a little bit of slipstream from the Alpine of Dudu up to the line. And Yannick misses out. Dodo, not Dudu. But Oren's going even quicker right now. He's lost a little bit of time in the middle sector. Oren to cross the line then. It's going to be pole position number 7 of the season. Oren crosses the line. And he has the most poles of any driver this season. 7 to his name. Grush has 6th and he qualifies 6th. So Oren on pole position then. Samurai is 4th. Toby went 7th. And what about Fnatic? We'll see what the Haas can do across the line. And he, I think, accompanies his teammate on the 4th row. Yeah, he does. He just emotes him. Wow. That is quite the grid for the season finale. Oren fights back. And all those involved in a championship today are the front runners. Aston versus Williams versus RB. For the constructors, Oren versus Samurai. For the drivers, they've all given it their all. I think Samurai may have left it a little early again. But, I mean, his best was probably only just ahead of Callum. Yannick and Oren in another league there in the wet. So great stuff from them. But now, 36 laps ahead of us to decide a champion. But right now, it's not looking too bad for Oren. But we know how racy Samurai can be. And let's see what the strats are from Aston with Callum. Callum also wants to win a race as well, but I think today, there's a few more important things at stake for him and his team. So, everyone's loaded in. Mediums for everyone as the game puts them on. We'll see if anyone decides to start on the hards or maybe even some softs. Will it be a 1-stop or a 2-stop? I think you can get away with a 2 around here. A 1 can be more ideal. We see Dodo putting the softs on there. Just missed out on the top 10. So that's 2 Mercedes, 2 Haas cars, 2 Astons. Simon needs to fix his internet. Didn't even get to invite him. The game, whatever. Formation lap time for the final time this season. And let's see what tyres they've all decided to start on. Okay, so it was what we pretty much saw. Everyone's on the mediums, apart from Dodo on the softs. So he'll be able to maybe make up some ground early on. But he's going to struggle in a few laps' time. What must be going through the mind of Samurai and Oren. He knows what he's got to do today. If he loses 1 place, Samurai's champion. If he stays where he is, he's champion. 7 points. Winner takes all. If Oren wins the race, he wins the championship. If Samurai so much as beats Oren, even if it's the race or whatnot, he's champion. And if it's not the win we're talking about, Samurai needs to be within 2 places of the Aston. It's make or break. But again, the temps in the tyres. We've got all 17 still on this formation lap. Christian starting at the back with the 2 Saubers right in front of him. Then Deadgun, then the Ghost of Simon, who will take control when the lights go out. Then the 2 Alpines. Oh, we almost made it. Deadgun and Nathan on the grid. Fnatic and Toby separated by 1 point in the standings. With Fnatic ahead. And Grush, not Grush, Yannick obviously trying to hold on to that P4. He's in a great position today to definitely throw his hat in the ring of who can win this race. There's championships on the line, but the drivers who aren't involved will surely still give it their all. Cook still with a top 5 quali right at the end. Samurai's in his grid slot. Oren's in his grid slot. And we're waiting for the 17th and final driver of Christian to enter his. Here we go then. It all gets decided tonight. The drivers, the constructors, Aston versus Williams versus RB, Oren versus Samurai. It's the Tier 2 Season 12 season finale here in Brazil. It's lights out and away we go. Oren and Yannick get away well. It looks like Oren's got a good start and Yannick's dropping down. It's an Aston Martin 1-2. Callum round the outside of Yannick. Samurai keeping clear in P4 and touches the back of Callum slightly. So Yannick brushes out and gets back in front of the Aston. So the top 4 as they were, the top 5 and 6 as they were, as Fnatic holds off Toby and Dello, who are scrapping away down into the Skido de Lago for turn 4 on the opening lap. Side by side between the Haas and the Mercedes is up in front. Grush looking to put pressure on Cookster and Samurai. It was a cautious start for the championship leader as he's got his championship rival's teammate right in front of him, but that was the perfect start for Oren, who's already a second clear nearly of Yannick, who just had to recover his start from making it an Aston 1-2. Further at the back, Simon still not in his car, then the 2 Saubers fighting away with Cow, who's once again not had the greatest opening lap. Deadgun fighting away with Dubs. Christian up 6 places from last up to 11th. Great start from him as the 2 Hasses regain 8th and 7th. So the top 3 all separated 1 second each. And as we finish the first lap, Christian, after what was a great first lap, didn't complete it fully in the lead. But Oren finishes the first lap, a second clear of Yannick. So, biggest gainer at the moment. Well, it was going to be Christian, but it's Deadgun in the end from 14th to 11th. We don't need that. I enable that every race, but it doesn't really mean anything, to be honest. There's a Deadgun and Dubs flying away. Goes off the track there, does the Red Bull. Bit of chaos happening towards the back of the race as we see Samurai right on the back of Callum. Yeah, we'll leave it on that. Dubs and Deadgun fighting away still. There we go. And it looks like Dubs is staying in front of Deadgun, who gets all squirrely out there. That's a horrible inside line. But he just manages to hold it against Nathan, who will take a warning there for going off. But we look further back then. Callum just has to park the bus with Samurai, and it's leading all the way down to Dello in 9th. As Oren and Yannick, not for the first time this season, 1-2, with Yannick just trying to stick with the Aston as much as possible. Callum, 46%. Samurai with a lot more battery, and we will get DRS this lap. So Samurai looks like he will be able to clear past the Aston of Callum towards the inside. Callum gives him the room, and Samurai is up into 3rd place. Crucial move as Callum out of battery now. So Samurai up in a 3rd. Callum sends it to the inside, whacks the back of the Williams, and you always knew some kind of desperate move was going to happen. And Samurai now deciding to blast, just to hope that Callum can't get close enough because he doesn't have enough battery. And we have yellows at the back of Deadgun falling behind. Christian gets a penalty too, and Samurai has escaped Callum for now. And the question is, can he pull away? Because he's lost a couple seconds. Right now, it's still not enough because Oren is winning the race. And right now, it actually comes down to... as Grush makes a move on Cookster for 5th. Yeah, that was a genuine move because Cookster was 5th originally. These two have been swapping a lot. Not just today, but a lot of this season. More yellows at the back with a Deadgun now. Adam. So right now, I think the championship is not really in the hands of Samurai Oren. It's down to Yannick. If he wants that first win... right now, Samurai will not win, but if Yannick wins, Samurai will win. 8/10 clear of Callum, so he's not done the job fully, but he's got more battery than Callum. But Callum can probably use everything and stick with the Williams. It depends how quickly Samurai can catch Yannick. Has he got the pace to catch Yannick? As a Fnatic making moves, fighting away with Cookster around the outside of the Red Bull. As Cookster parks the bus, positions his car right where he needs to, and stays in 6th for now. Callum, 10%. Samurai, just under. He can see the red light flashing. Can the Aston? As Christian gets another time pen. Nathan fighting away with Dubs. I think he's just got the move. As down the inside, Fnatic keeping Cookster on his toes. As there's just penalty galore at the back. Cookster in... barely any battery to the inside. Fnatic spies an opportunity. He's got to make these moves if he wants to fight for another win. This is a great scrap. Cookster's hanging it still around the outside. And Fnatic's just leaving him the room. But Cookster tags the side of him. And that's going to drop him down to the back of this train as they're starting to separate more and more. And unfortunately, Cookster is now off the train. He's over a second behind. He went to the inside desperately. I thought Fnatic gave him enough room. Either way, it's put these three now behind Grush, Callum, and Samurai, who's just borderline within a second. But if this carries on, Samurai will be on his own soon. Yannick doing absolutely everything to try and get that DRS of Oren, who's not blasting everything. Unlike Yannick and Samurai and Callum and Grush, they're all giving it everything. So many Tier 2 races we've seen this season and in the past. The Tier 2 drivers don't exactly give everything all straight away. They're usually on 50 or 60. They are giving it absolutely everything for this finale. Samurai keeping the pace pretty constant. We know time pens are also going to be very important here. It's very common, and you can already see towards the back how many they're ramping up already. So Samurai at least has a bit of clean air. Can he chase down Yannick? There's only been one time this whole season in both qualifying and race we've seen Samurai and Oren even be the top two, and that was in Austria, where Samurai did the 2-stop, Oren did the 1. Samurai was chasing Oren down, missed out by 2 seconds. But right now, Yannick is in between them, and he's just falling behind Samurai, and he's pulling a little bit... he's falling behind Oren, and he's pulling a little bit away from Samurai, as... where's the detection? It's right there. And Callum, I think, just dipped under a second there. He did, as we see the DRS activate. So he's just sticking with the Williams. And my guess... he'll probably do what he did last week, of pit early to gain track position on him. But Samurai knows he can't pit too early. Samurai does gain quite a bit on Yannick around this part of the track, and then the rest of the track, he doesn't. So I don't know if that indicates Samurai has lower wings, if Yannick's got the downforce in the middle sector. Right now, Oren's doing everything right. After so much has gone wrong for him, mostly be due to him than other circumstances. But he's putting it right, but he's still got a long way to go before this can be the redemption race he needs. He's not the first driver in this tier to have a redemption story of fighting for a championship, missing out, coming back a few years later to redo it again. Obviously, Josh Hewitt last year did it after missing out on the Season 4 title 4 years ago, right here at Brazil in the finale. He was 2 racing at Aston Martin, came back for Sauber. Oren is stuck with his team and gone again. So right now, Pendulum is currently for Aston in both championships. But let's see how this goes. Yannick falling further behind. Samurai closing in. He's got Callum out of a second. So these 3, it's all just down to pace. It's down to tyre management and down to how much they want it. Further back, though, Toby has made a mistake at turn 3 and has let Dello go up in the 7th. And Cookster will be on his gearbox soon. So more drivers in the top 9 making mistakes, making it less and less of who's in the fight. Fnatic gaining a bit of ground, just sticking with Grush and Callum. Just separating a bit more. It's that transition from all these tier 2 races. It's nearly a tier 1 race with how much probably practice and focus and dedication they're wanting for this. But anyway, looking further down, Dodo's hanging on to the final points paying position. Nathan's up in 11th, to be fair to him. Just a quick reminder, he started 15th. And Christian, even after the moments he's had, back up to 13th. So Dubs, Deadgun, Adam and Simon, they've not had the greatest of moments. I'll quickly invite Simon again. He's not even there. Oh well. As there's a move. Grush, round the outside of Callum. Will he give him the room? I don't think he even can because Callum's already behind Grush and he's got the move done. Has the McLaren driver, but with barely any battery, can Callum fight back? Can Fnatic fight back? Because he's usually always the one with the most battery. And going around the outside of Callum leaves him the room and they're still side by side. Callum on the exit, doesn't blast his battery and they bang wheels. So that's going to allow Fnatic to get the place on the Aston Martin, who's dropping further behind. So Grush gets out of Callum and Fnatic does as well to move themselves up in a 4th and 5th. 2.5 seconds behind Samurai, who's within 2 seconds now of Yannick, who's falling to nearly 3 seconds behind Oren. So it looks like Callum's just struggling battery-wise, maybe pace-wise. He did hit the back of Samurai. I do not know if that gave him damage. It shouldn't have, but you never know. But yeah, obviously, I mean, look at the battery difference between Fnatic to the rest. He just has it when he needs to. And you never know, he could be spying up a gap to see Grush here because he's blasted all his battery. And while he might not be close enough here, down into turn 4, Fnatic's got a real good chance of being P4 by the end of the first 10 laps. So Grush, nothing left. Fnatic can see the red light flashing. He goes to the left to defend. That's all he can really do. Fnatic already turns the battery off, knows he's got the move done, and he's up in a P4 already, ahead of the McLaren. Callum and Delos join this party now after the fight as Christian gets his 3rd pen. 1 second for every lap so far this race. So 4-way fight at the moment for 4th. Samurai closing the gap bit by bit down to Yannick. Samurai currently 4 seconds off the lead. Winner takes all, remember. Samurai is 7 points ahead of Oren. Right now, Oren would be champion by 3 points. It pretty much would just revert back to what it was a race or 2 ago, where Samurai was, 36, 32, 7. Then after Mexico, he got it down to 3. And then after Abu Dhabi, it went 7 in his favour. And then it would just return back to what it was of Oren 3 points ahead of Samurai. If we finish like this, if Samurai gains 1 more place and Oren and Samurai are the top 2, and we finish this season level on points, that would be quite crazy. Obviously, Oren would win due to count back as it being a dead heat. He has more wins than Samurai. Anyway, swaps happening further back, quite a few, because Christian's in the Dodo's in the pits, allowing a few to move up down the inside, even off the grass there. Tangle between Dubs and Christian. That allows Deadgun to absolutely soar past the pair of them as Christian gets his elbows out on Dubs, and we'll have to focus at the front here because Yannick's struggling because the Samurai is within a second now of Yannick, And how quickly can he dispose of the RB before Fnatic and Grush and Callum and Dello maybe start to close up to these two? Oren doing everything right at the moment. Just pulling away the pace. He can now, I think, react to whatever the people do behind. He's got a big enough gap. 52%, 50% for Samurai. It's going to be close. We got yellows. And that's Toby off again. And we have a safety car for the first time since... Oh my god, Samurai. Oh my god. The safety car is coming out. There's Oren. Oren should be able to pass it, but he has to keep to a delta. Is the safety car going to come out ahead of Oren, or is Oren going to beat it? It's going to be close. There's the line. I think Oren's just ahead. That could have been detrimental to Oren's championship hopes because Samurai pitted. If Oren was behind the safety car, Samurai would have caught without Oren being able to do a stop. But Oren just about managed to stay in front as Cal speeds in the pit lane under a safety car. This is the first safety car we've had in 13 races since Monza. Wow. And I don't even know who caused that, but my guess is someone at the back. Wow. Drama. So let's look at the tyres then. Everyone bar Toby, Fnatic, Yannick and Oren pitted, but I'm sure they will be able to pit. Oh, it was Toby, maybe. Oh, it was Toby, obviously, yeah. So Toby has caused the safety car. That impact, losing his whole front wing, has brought it out for the first time. And Oren, time and time again, has said, that should have been a safety car here and there. I think this is the last thing he may have wanted. But the top two now pit, and this is going to be an extremely difficult challenge because give a few more laps and maybe we will start to see pit stops for a one stop. But they're going to have to go 2/3 of the race on these hards. That is still going to be quite a tough challenge as the Haas cars both will obviously pit because Toby needs to change his wing and it's just a no-brainer. So Samurai, after pitting early, this is going to be close with Oren. Oren should stay ahead, but Samurai has got Yannick in the stops and now we see the top two in the championship, 1 and 2. Alright, this is going to be a fun restart. Yannick has lost out then, due to the delta or whatnot. Whatever the case, Samurai has gotten ahead of Yannick, and now we're going to see a fight. Every twist and turn remaining between these two are so critical for this championship. And whoever beats the other, simple as that, is the champion. But wow, what a first third of the race. That could have been so bad if Oren... I don't know if Oren was doing that on purpose or he generally had to keep to a delta, but it must have been tenths between Oren and the safety car crossing that white line. And if Oren did lose out, as much as he gets memed for bottling stuff sometimes, he would have lost out to a road car being in an F1 car. That's a whole new level of embarrassing, but no, he managed to beat him out. Just. Wow. So... everyone's on new hards besides Simon and Cal at the back. Cal has served his 10 second. I think he's put back on his old mediums that he did in the first 10 laps. So they're going to take a while to catch up. Alpine have had a horror show at the back. Still got all 17 cars left. But yeah, Samurai's got his head down like he has done a few times this season where he's not had the greatest of qualifyings, gained some positions back up, and now, well, it's cinema, really. It just makes sense. The top two should be fighting for the top two spots. And for Oren, unlike a few races before, it's probably worse for him if they do get into an incident. Because Oren needs the win more than Samurai does. Yannick has a front row seat to this. And I hope he's got some popcorn ready. Safety car should be in maybe next lap. Which obviously does help the drivers. It was around lap 14 or whatnot. They were going to pit anyway, I'm assuming, from mediums to hards. So it might not actually be that bad by the end of the race. But for someone like Samurai, who always does usually struggle a little more on tyres, he's got to be careful because he's got 1 lap older tyres. While that only might be a percent because it was under safety car, it does make a difference still. Same with Grush and Callum. Well, all of these guys. Fnatic is definitely going to be one to watch come the closing stages. Yannick and Fnatic, the two who I think are really going to decide this as much as Oren and Samurai. And maybe Grush as well. I'm actually a little surprised Callum stayed out there. Because if Aston know they've pretty much got this in the bag of the constructors, they can use Callum, but they didn't. They still want to secure the constructors because it is that order. Aston are 19 ahead of Williams, who are 1 point ahead of RB. And Haas are 4th in the standings, and McLaren and Mercedes are around 5th and 6th in the standings. You couldn't really write. And Red Bull, I think, are right behind them. And Nathan's up there in 9th, and that's genuine as well. So good job from the Sauber of Nathan. He's in the points right now. Still waiting on the 2 Alpines to join the pack. It should be in this lap. And we are going to get back underway with racing. Keep it on pens. There we go. Well, we're going to have a fight, whether it ends well or not. Oren had the pace at the start to just pull away from Yannick. So theoretically, he has the pace still to pull away from Samurai. There might not even be a fight. Maybe Oren has the pace to just pull away. But Samurai will be hoping as much as possible to stick with, but also overtake him. He wants that championship. It's right in front of him as the safety car will be in this lap. And Oren has got to get the restart underway fairly safely as well. And Samurai can't get alongside, but Oren can't speed up or slow down. Oren wants to get on with this as soon as possible. And Samurai is looking for a gap. Oren slowing down, and now he gets on with it. And Yannick sees the top 2 in front. Resume racing on lap 15. 21 laps to go then. Oren into turn 1 is ahead of Samurai, then Yannick, then Fnatic. Grush and Callum fighting away with the Mercedes making up ground of Dello. Round the outside, he's got the move. Good stuff from Dello. Is dropping down the orders. Nathan, he was up in 9th, but now he's at the back as Fnatic all over the back of Yannick. Oren and Samurai not fighting yet. Grush fighting away with Dello, who's making even more moves, but gets denied at this rate from the McLaren. McLaren and Mercedes fighting for 5th in the constructors, fighting for 5th in the race at the moment. But right now, single file, but Callum's dropped even further behind. So, Samurai, 6/10 behind Oren. 73%. Oren, 50%. He really wants to get on with this. But Samurai just has to keep close to him. And DRS will be activated next lap. Yannick fended off Fnatic, who's just hanging back. Full battery to his name, but he's nearly a second behind the RB. What can Yannick even do? Does he want to attack Samurai? I'm sure he will still try, if he can. But that is 1 lap complete after the restart. Half a second separates the top 2. 40%, 25%, 25 as well for Yannick, 70 for Fnatic. He knows what he's doing. And does Samurai just strike? He knows you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. DRS open for Samurai. He sees his rival right in front of him. Oren goes left to defend. Will Samurai commit? He can't quite find enough of a gap because Oren's far enough ahead to defend this time round. But Samurai, first shot taken, didn't quite work. But he's putting the pressure on his rival. For the championship, reminder, 7 points between them. Winner takes all. And this is the best possible scenario we could have hoped for. 1 second between Yannick to Fnatic, 1 second between Fnatic to Grush. So it's fine margins between who's going to get DRS and whatnot. Fnatic just not using it because he's borderline close to that second. They get so close to that grass on the right every time. But now we try again. They've got pretty level battery. Now Samurai goes below Oren because he's not blasting. He actually dips onto the grass. So it looks like Oren may just let Samurai have this one and try again. There it is. Samurai overtakes Oren on lap 17 down into turn 1. And he now has the pendulum swing in his favour. Slight contact between the top 2. But now he is going to be under pressure from Oren, using his own tricks against him from last week in Abu Dhabi. Samurai goes to the left to defend, blasting his battery. Oren round the outside, the top 2 in the World Championship, side by side. Oren round the outside, can't quite get it. Samurai got the momentum, and Oren tried to fight back, but he couldn't quite do it on this lap. right behind the Kraken rear wing of the Williams. But now Samurai is ahead and winning the championship. The pendulum swings. But while they blast their battery, it allows Yannick and Fnatic and whatnot to close up and save a little. Dello ahead of Grush now, and they've actually separated. So that's let the top 4 run away a little. The main 4 teams all season. It's only fitting. Samurai saving a good amount. Just a little less than Orange. Slight wobble from the Aston. Obviously last week when Samurai came out the pits, Oren blasted all his battery to get Samurai. He put it in none. Mistook it for no battery, but he actually had a lot and overtook him again. Is Oren going to try something? Samurai goes defensive down into turn 1. That's going to put him on a tight line. Heading into 2, but he's corrected it pretty well compared to Oren, who's already blasted a lot of his battery. Pretty level between the top 2. Oren gets a good run. Has the DRS. It's going to be a drag between straight line speed, and it looks like Oren might just inch ahead of the Williams, which he does, and the pendulum swings again in the context of the championship. Oren now back in front of Samurai, putting on a good show. Clean, respectful, but it's getting close, and the gloves are coming off as we are at the halfway stage of the race. And I do just wonder, as that is so close to track limits, I do just wonder when Samurai went defensive to the left, heading out of turn 3, you can sometimes get warnings for that bit where the pit lane exit happens and the track begins. There's a little intermediate section where if you come across, it's the track, but you can still get a warning. I haven't seen Oren go off once yet. I've seen Samurai go off maybe once or twice. Anyway, it's going to continue. Oren puts in hot lap. He's not blasting. Samurai is, however. He's closing up to Oren. Lap 19 then. And will he go for the inside? He'll just let Oren know he's there. A little bit of a lock-up from the Aston. And Oren has the battery to maybe just keep ahead of the Williams for this straight. Samurai keeping close there on the left. Those 2 white lines, when they intersect, that little bit of gap. Samurai close, but he's not close enough. You got to hold your breath every time. There's a little bit of a moment because you never know when the moment might happen, if there is going to be any moment. It's just going to be back and forth, and they've still got people behind pressuring, but it's fitting. It's these 2, like I said earlier, because it's all aboard the Dello train at the moment for Grush, Callum, Toby, and Cookster. It's all aboard the Christian train, who's somehow in the points again, with Dubs, Cal, Deadgun, Dodo, Adam, Nathan, unfortunately. I don't know what happened to him at the restart. But it's unfortunate. Oren has created a little bit of a gap to Samurai on this lap. With 50% battery, identical to his rival. And now Yannick's starting to put pressure on the Williams, who I'm sure will close. Oren, once again, just not blasting everything. He knows he needs the battery. It's so important. And with this being the final race in Tier 2 of these regulations, ever since Season 5 to Season 12, with these kinds of cars... It's a proper send-off between these 2, showing what they're made of. Samurai closes in. Not enough. 5%. Oren, 20%. Samurai's got to make sure he doesn't blast too much. He's still blasting here. Samurai has been pretty good on battery a lot of the time. Recently, he's probably used a bit too much here and there. I think he might be struggling slightly. It looks like overall Oren may still have a bit more pace in him than Samurai today. But boy, is he giving it a right shot. And it's close, actually, with if Oren's going to get Samurai out of DRS, because that's once again not the greatest exit for the Williams. He's giving it everything, but it's 9/10, 1 corner before the detection. It's now a second. Samurai needs a good exit here. There's the detection, and he's lost it. So on lap 20, Oren's got Samurai out of DRS. He's once again not pushing. Samurai is giving it everything. They're all pretty spaced out, but they're going to get a lot closer now. Yannick using everything to stick with Samurai 2. Fnatic just biding his time behind once again. And at a late opportunity, does Samurai start to think about using Fnatic? As dropping down the order is Grush. There's been an incident with Grush and maybe Callum or Dello. Whatever the case, Grush is out. Dubs is out in the pit lane on lap 21, and now Fnatic, now Oren has left Samurai a little bit, so it's down to Fnatic maybe. If he's got the pace, got the battery, and the tyre saving skill that he usually has to win races, is it in Samurai's best interest to let Fnatic, if he gets close to Yannick, let them go, Let him chase down Oren, take away the win, because right now the worst Samurai would finish is 4th. And for him to still be champion, he needs Oren 2nd, not 1st. So that is an option. But right now, he's still going to give it everything he can. There's still 3-second time pens on the line, which could change things. If one of these guys get a 3, that could definitely change a lot in terms of minimum position finishers. But right now, Oren, 1.2 ahead of Samurai. He's closed it a little. It looks like Samurai might have a bit better straight line speed. In the background, though, Yannick versus Fnatic. Round the outside, wheel-to-wheel stuff between the RB and the Haas, giving each other just enough space until there wasn't. Fnatic gets ahead of Yannick. Little bit of, well, barely any space left on the exit there, but Fnatic has gotten ahead into P3. Yannick squeezed. Fnatic squeezed Yannick there, but Fnatic's now up in a 3rd. Wonder what we said about that. But right now, he sets his sight on Samurai. And if he can use the DRS well, it can close himself up to Oren as well. But it looks like the top 4 are pulling away from the Delo train. And unfortunately, I really don't know what happened to Grush, but maybe you can catch back up to these guys if they start fighting. But now, Samurai lacking about 2 to 3 tenths every lap on Oren. It just looks like he has the pace. Oren really delivering a race of caliber that was how he used to drive after Singapore, before Singapore. Tracks like Austria and Netherlands and Jeddah and Qatar, all the races he's spectacularly won this season. As there's, I think, been an incident again, Christian and maybe Deadgun or whatnot, but Christian's definitely dropped down the order. Fnatic now blasting his battery to close up to Samurai, who's blasting his battery. You can see the red light flashing. Fnatic to the inside on Samurai. And it looks like he might just let him go and fight it. He backs out. So Fnatic is up in a P2 now. And now it depends if Samurai can... Christian retires in the pit lane. There's a swap between the Aston and the Haas as well. Toby up in a 6th. After causing the safety car, after having a few moments, he now finds himself back up into the top 6 places. Good for Haas, good for him. Cooks now gets a pen, the first of the top 8 to get one, and now he's all out of shape on the exit there. So now Samurai needs to maybe just stick close to Fnatic. At this rate, it might not even matter if he finishes 3rd or 4th. It genuinely just matters if Fnatic is quicker than Oren now. So right now, Oren would win by 3 points. If Fnatic wins, Samurai would win by 4 points. We've had every kind of scenario that's going to play out, at least in the first 2/3 of the race. We have 1/3 left. Now there's got to make sure with warnings. Obviously, I think one of the key questions now will be that thing with Yannick and Fnatic. If that gets looked into, maybe, I don't know. Because that could mean a lot. As we see, round the outside, Cal versus Deadgun. What a move from Cal there to get ahead of the Red Bull up into the final points paying position. No pens to his name, though, so he should still be able to keep it. Deadgun's going to fight back at him, but with what battery? No battery. And Cal is up into P10. It would be nice if he got a point in the final race of the season. Gap getting ever bigger from Yannick to Delo. Samurai is sticking with Fnatic, who is slightly quicker than Oren this lap by a couple tenths. And if he keeps this up, he would close up. But Samurai has to stick with him slightly, just for his own sake. You can see the gap going down. He's blasting his battery. Oren isn't. He's just keeping it in hot lap. And look at that gap going down. 2 seconds at the start of the straight. It's going down to 1.5 seconds nearly by turn 1. 1.6. So Oren just keeping it smart for now. Not blasting everything. And Samurai just hanging on as we have yellows again. And that's Nathan, unfortunately, who's had another spin. Another moment. And now Samurai's lost DRS. And a fight away with Yannick. Which again, at this very stage, whether he finishes 3rd or 4th, whether Yannick finishes 3rd or 4th, at this stage shouldn't matter, but you never know. I'm sure Oren wants to win this on track anyway, no matter if Fnatic catches him or what might be said about the thing with Yannick, but right now he's doing a good job. Gap staying constant this lap to 2 seconds, so if anything, Oren's actually slightly gained a little Looks like Fnatic, who always usually does run low wings. It's clear he's running low wings compared to Oren at least. Oren now deciding to blast a little bit. Crossing the line 1.9 ahead of Fnatic, so he's gained a couple tenths that lap. Samurai now out of DRS with no battery. Delo still under pressure from Toby, who, a top 5 finish after what has been a bit of a hellish race would be great as Cookster and Grush fight away. I don't know if these two came together at turn 1 a few laps ago, but they're fighting it out pretty cleanly. So Grush is ahead of Cookster. Now Deadgun is ahead of Cal, who's into the pits. Of course, Cal pit for mediums. Top 3 separated by equidistant gaps. Fnatic once again closing. But if Oren can just maintain this pace, he knows this is the race that will form a champion. And Oren driving like one. Samurai as well, though. We know he's giving it absolutely everything. He's putting in so much work for this. But we're still far from over. Two seconds, the gap is just stabilising around that time. Fnatic's using a bit more battery here and there. Oren sees it as well. They're just slowly getting a bit further down and down. 10 laps to go of the Brazilian Grand Prix as Toby now makes a move on Delo before we even get to the DRS part of the straight. As Delo has got the DRS, so maybe that was a bit of DRS gains as Delo coming back at the Haas way ahead of him by the time we get into turn 1 and Delo's back in front. So Toby will fight this out again, heading down into turn 4. Yannick close to Samurai, but not close enough for a move. Toby's got plenty of battery. Delo, his light is now flashing, but actually Toby turns his battery off. He's not close enough. So he'll wait another lap, and Callum just watching this unfold. Oren out leading. For most of the season, we did think he would run away with it. He would be the winner. And after Netherlands, it really did look impossible for anyone to catch. He had a 43-point lead with just 7 races to go. But Samurai turned up the heat. And he went and won 2 races, both where Oren didn't score. One before Netherlands and Texas, where he DNF'd and didn't even start for Oren. Samurai has delivered a mega comeback. One for the ages, one to remember. Of 43 points behind to 7 ahead. 50 points in the last 7 races. But when it comes to the finale, right now, it's just not going his way. The pendulum swung a little at the restart. It was great to see back and forth. But right now, the pace-wise is just going to Oren at the moment where he needs it. Oren, all this talk of... there's still 9 laps to go, but all this constant teasing here and there of him bottling and whatnot here and there after Season 9, where he was doing what Samurai was doing. He was the hunter, not the hunted. He was the one chasing the gap down to Sebastian, the Tier 2 Season 9 champion. He got to within 2 points at Singapore, another very important race in the context of the championship, and then he just started to fall behind, make mistakes, spins, penalties, and he's done a bit of a similar job towards the end of the season where he's just not had the pace or the results or the consistency which has allowed Samurai, who's been on the top of his game, to maximise. But here at Brazil, where Oren got his first podium in Season 8 2 years ago, he does do pretty well around this track. Fnatic's not gaining on Oren. He's pulling away actually a little as Samurai is finding himself under more and more pressure from Yannick, who's getting ever closer to the Williams, who can see that championship slipping out of his grasp. He's been the hunter for so long. He comes into this finale as the hunted, but he's still giving it everything, like he still has something to play for. Yannick round the outside of Samurai, and he's got the move done. Good move from the RB, who's up onto the podium, and Samurai drops down to 4th. So, 7 laps to go then, and Oren doing everything he needs. Is there anything Samurai can do now? It must be hard. But he's driven like a true samurai. He's kept his head down. He's done what he needs to. He's put in the work and the dedication and the motivation to really give it a great go. And look where he was from last season to this. What a step up he's made. And he really will deserve everything he's done this season. And to just fall short It will hurt, but he can still hold his head proud and high. With 7 laps to go. Oren is still pushing like he's going to lose. But it's looking better and better each lap that ticks down for the championship. Fnatic just isn't quite gaining enough. They're pretty level. They are level. It stayed 2 seconds for the last however many laps. Samurai fighting back at Yannick to maybe still finish this season off with a podium. If Fnatic maybe even gets a pen for hitting Yannick a little. There's Toby versus Dello. Dello down the inside, late on the brakes, like he was in Singapore a lot of the time to get his first win. He's trying to hang on to 5th here and fighting away with Toby, who hasn't had the greatest run since his first half. Obviously with Fnatic beating him and joining in the second half. Toby would like to finish the season on a high with a good result. And right now, he's fighting for it. So we've lost Dubs and Christian from the race. They both retired in the pit lane. Simon will probably, well, he will get disqualified. He's not really been here the whole race. Both Saubers have had moments here and there, but it's not really worked out for them. Deadgun and Cal pitting again. That's allowing the rest who just pitted on the hards to go to the end. They must be reaching a bit of critical wear now, but they should all still make it. Any fuel concerns at the start have gone completely out the window due to the safety car. Yep, Fnatic and Oren, nothing separating them. If Fnatic just improved his qualifying slightly, maybe he could have had a bit more of a chance. But he's had to do some work to get through the drivers. I think there was a bit of a snap there for Yannick, who we know is pushing hard as well as Dello. This time round can't send it to the inside of Toby and has to let him go for now. Toby back up in a 5th. So, the only way, as it's kicked me out my pie. If we ignore the thing with Fnatic and Yannick, I think the only thing standing in Oren's way is a 3-second time penalty. But I think that will be probably the first thing on his mind of just don't get a warning. You've got the pace, you're actually pulling away from those behind. You don't need it. Should we check the warnings? I think we should. Alright, lap 6. Ooh, lap 26. Oh boy. Lap 6. Yep, exceeding. Lap 26, exceeding. Oh, as Dello and Toby fight again. They swap. Dello goes deep. Toby will switch on the Mercedes, get the momentum around the outside. Doesn't blast his battery for some reason. Now blast it. Dello's got nothing left. Toby to the inside. Will breeze past the Mercedes. And this is actually quite a cool fight that's going on between them. As Toby's up in front of Samurai. Gets very close to the back of Yannick there. But nothing doing so right now. Fnatic, while all that was happening, has actually closed in a little on Oren, taking about half a second. So now we know Oren's on 2 warnings. He has to be very careful indeed. And with an AI in front, it's not exactly easy to see apexes, but he should be able to clear him because we've only got a corner, then a straight. Just don't dip it on the grass, and he's clear. That AI might even give Fnatic DRS, depending where they are at the detection zone. Will he get DRS? He will. Interesting. Very interesting. 4 laps to go then as Oren crosses the line. Samurai still trying to stick with DRS. And Fnatic, with that helping hand of DRS, is nearly within a second. The detection point, that white line right there, doesn't get it again. Well, he will get it again because of the Ferrari. Let's quickly check the rest. Oh, God. 1, 2, 4... 27. Collision. Exceeding. Collision. And I'm going to assume the other one's exceeding. Exceeding. So, wow. Oren's on 2 warnings. Fnatic's on 2 warnings. Has Yannick been clean? Oh no. 17. It doesn't really matter. I guess it's up exceeding. Yeah. And then Samurai. 18. Yeah, 1. 3 to go then. Big lockup for Oren, who's just trying to keep Fnatic ahead of him. this could still, you never know, swap. But Oren's just got to drive his heart out. 3 laps to go before he can become a Tier 2 world champion. 2 warnings for Oren, 2 warnings for Fnatic, 1 for Yannick, 1 for Samurai. I don't think these two have to worry. They're still fine. Away, Dello now gets a time penalty as, well, he was behind Toby anyway, but that could drop him behind Callum as well. So it looks like Toby may hang on to this 5th place. Aston, who are going to become Constructors champions. They went into today 19 and 20 ahead of Williams and RB. And, well, I guess Yannick and Samurai, whoever finishes ahead of the other, will get their team 2nd in the championship. And the other who loses will be 3rd. So I guess Samurai's still fighting for that, if he can. Now they've caught up to the ghosted car of Simon, who might give Yannick a bit of DRS because Samurai is very close to being out of it. And it looks like he will. So that might be the final nail in the coffin for Samurai. He's driven his heart out. 2 to go. Oren pulling the gap a little more on Fnatic. And even if Fnatic gets some kind of pen for the thing with Yannick, he's nearly got a 5-second gap to Yannick, so it might not even matter. So the whole post-race questioning, if Fnatic did overtake Oren, doesn't matter. It looks like we are going to decide this right here, right now. They're about to come up to lap Adam, I think, as Dello and Toby fighting once again. Bit of wheel banging. Is there space left? Just about between the Haas and the Mercedes. Wheel to wheel. Rubbing tyres between the Mercedes and the Haas. Nothing separating them. Down the inside in turn 4. Dello brakes once again very late. He allows Toby, though, the space to go around the outside. Callum watching this unfold. A great scrap between them. You can see the graining starting to appear on these hard compound tyres. Dello trying to hang around the outside. And there's contact between Dello and Toby, who now drops behind Callum. So now Callum will inherit P5 because of an incident between Toby and Dello there. As Oren looks like he might get a bit of helpful handing of DRS to extend his margin on Fnatic. Yannick's actually closed a little to within 5 seconds of Fnatic. But Oren then, it's the final lap of the Grand Prix. It's the final lap of the season. And Oren is leading at the Brazilian Grand Prix. He's had a season of ups and downs, so many ups. 7 victories that will become 8. He fought in Tier 2 Season 9. He was the hunter, closing up and missing out. To this season, he is the hunted. He had a big gap that was closed right down and actually got overturned heading into this race from Samurai. Samurai has given it absolutely everything. He can hold his head up high for the achievements he's done, but it's just going to fall short. Oren is going to do enough. He's halfway done with the lap, and he'll start to savour it all in. It's starting to come to him. He's just got to get it over the line. All the talk of is he going to lose? Will he bottle it? Oren, redemption stories are starting to be a bit of a common thing here in EXFL Tier 2. The long climb up the hill for the Aston, who are going to be Constructors champions. And Oren, 1.5 years after he lost his shot at the title, it's going to be redemption in Tier 2 Season 12. Oren is champion of the world in EXFL Tier 2 Season 12. He's done it! Fnatic finishes P2, 5.020 ahead of Yannick. So even if he got a pen, he would just hang on to 2nd. Samurai has done everything he possibly could today as Callum and Toby get ahead of Dello because of his pen. Aston are Constructors champions. Oren went in 7 points behind Samurai, has gained 13 on him. So by 6 points, Oren is the new Tier 2 world champion. Congratulations to him and to Samurai, to Fnatic and Yannick. They have given us an amazing season. All 4 of them, their teams, their racing, their driving, their commitment. It's been a great season. And Grush, Cookster and Cow round out the points. But it all ends with a new champion right at the end. He came back. He knew today would be make or break, and he wasn't going to lose for a second time. Oren's done it. He has done it. For Ireland, for himself. He walks out onto the podium as the new champion. Right at the end, he needed one more Oren type drive. lifts the trophy. His team half ecstatic, half blank face. But here in Brazil, we've seen quite a race transpire and unfold. Wow, that was tense. The pendulum did swing again, back and forth with Samurai and Oren. They had a great little fight at the restart. And the last time we had a safety car, Oren won that race with a commanding drive. And Oren's done the same thing here. He just did everything right. And that was the driver champion, and he has certainly deserved it. We have a fastest lap glitch for the first time in a while with Simon. Let's quickly get the race director. And yeah, let's get the top 3 in, and we will invite Samurai if he wants to join as well. Come on, pens, disappear, 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 disappear. There we go. Hope you all enjoyed that race. Hope you all enjoyed this season. So many moments from qualifying and races to build up to this moment where we've seen Oren and Aston take the double. Now let's get them all in the party. Oren will have to probably join on his Xbox app. Yannick. Fnatic. Samurai. There we go, Oren. We're not going to go to the showroom. I'm going to make a new lobby for Oren. Got to change a few settings though. As you have the top drivers starting to join the party now. Rules off, FOMO off, formation lamp off. Collisions. It's ghost. I believe that's ghosting. Damage off. Right, we have 2nd, 3rd, and 4th joining the party then. As for Oren, we'll give him a minute. Oren, Grush, Yannick. There we go. Whoa, no, Oren. There we go. Kick. Right. So, we have 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on the race in the party right now. Fnatic, are you there, mate? Have you included your audio? Okay, give me a sec. I'll just check if it's enabled. Still loading. That's annoying. Yannick, are you there, mate? Are you able to include your audio? I'm stuck on like an X. That's weird. Samurai, are you there, mate? Hi, mate. Alright. I don't know what's... Well, when I press my Xbox button, it's like pausing on the live streaming loading. I'll get that sorted in a minute. Let me just quickly message Oren. I think Oren's just taking it in for a sec. Yeah, it still won't... Oh, there we go. Hang on. Can you guys still hear me? Oh, it's kicked me out. Okay, hang on. Let me redo that. Just re-inviting them. There we go. Oren's online now. I think all 4 of them are in that party I was just in. Alright, they're joining now. I've kept it open anyway. Yeah, they should be able to include their audio. The settings enabled. There we go, they're all joining now. Are you able to include your audio now? I just double checked. It should be okay.
Yeah, I've
you are?
got it now.
Okay, good. Xbox is just being stupid again. Did Oren join that party, by the way?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, we have the new world champion joining the party. I've checked Yannick, checked Fnatic, checked Samurai. Oren, are you there, mate? Give him a sec. We'll give him a minute. Right. Who to start with? Because there's a lot to unpack. I guess while we wait for Oren, Samurai, you've driven incredibly well this season. You've given it absolutely everything. I've seen all the hard work you've put into this. It's just fallen short at the end, unfortunately, but you can be proud and keep your head high for everything you've achieved this season. I'm sure it must hurt a lot in this very moment right now, but if you don't have to even say anything if you don't want to, but do you have any words about the race, about the season, to Oren, to yourself? Just what are you feeling right now? What's happening?
I mean, for today, just the pace. My pace wasn't there. Oren, I mean, well done. Fully deserved it, but wish we could have been more into battles in this race, more than I think it was like 5 laps or 6 laps. Yeah, the safety car was really a lifeguard, but I couldn't make it work, so yeah.
Yeah, so qualifying, another wet qualifying like Singapore, put yourself 4th on the grid. You had an early fight with Callum. Was that a little stressful, considering he's obviously the teammate to Oren? He even hit you in the back slightly at turn 1. And it must have felt at least a bit good to pull away from him and start to close on Yannick.
Yeah, definitely it did, but yeah, but in looking at the whole thing, my pace just wasn't there today.
Yeah, that's understandable. Obviously, after the safety car, you managed to jump Yannick by actually quite a bit. It wasn't even that close when you were at the pit. You almost got Oren, actually. And then, yeah, the safety car restart, the pendulum started swinging. You two had a great fight back and forth, and then Oren just started to pull away. It was very similar to the first stint with Yannick. And then, were there any sort of different scenarios you thought could help? Because at that point, I did think of maybe Fnatic could come through and he would probably be the best chance at winning instead of Oren. I don't know did you think that, or?
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing, and I was when I was back, I was behind Oren. I just looked at he always locked up in turn 1 and turn 3, and I was like, maybe his tires gonna fall off or something, but yeah. It was just a false hope.
Indeed. Yeah, you drove your heart out. You had to fight away with Fnatic, who went away. Fight away with Yannick. Little scrap at the end there. But once again, you've achieved so much this season, and just in general, this and last season. Still the most consistent driver, and one of the best we've seen for just on and off the track, respect and whatnot. So congratulations to that, and yeah, just I know it must hurt right now, but you're a strong driver, and your mindset this whole season of hunting him down, race by race, take it how it is, because I mean, you look back to Belgium, 43 points behind, to be in this position. Would you have even dreamed of that after Hungary? Sorry, would you have even dreamed of being in this position?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Just gonna quickly double check. Oren, are you there, mate? He is here. Oren, are you able to include your audio on Xbox? I don't know. Might try in the Discord or whatnot. But while I can speak to you right now, whether it's included or not, Oren, you are the new Tier 2 World Champion. Congratulations, mate. What a drive. What a season. How are you feeling? Indeed. By the way, are you able to ready up in the lobby? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I guess while you do that, there was a really intense moment when the safety car came out, whether you were going to beat the safety car to the white line. I don't know if you noticed how close it was. I I'll let you. I'll let you just compose yourself and ready up and whatnot. I'll quickly interview Fnatic or Yannick while you do all that. Um, we'll move on to Fnatic then. P2, mate. Ending the season off strong. You have been, like I've said many times, the star of this second half of the season, and you are only 6 points off Yannick in the end for fourth, which is insane. It's been a very, very, very strong second half for you, and once again started around the seventh, eighth mark, another podium. How was the race from your perspective?
Uh, Overall, I'd say it was pretty good from my side. I wasn't too happy with the safety car as it sort of screwed my strategy of going longer and hopefully trying to go for the win on fresher tyres, so that went straight out the window. But yeah, I just lacked a bit of race pace to Oran. I tried everything to put pressure on him and to try and get him 3 seconds or something to try and get the win, but it wasn't quite there. But I was still overall happy with the half season I've done, finishing P5, I think, in the standings. So I can only go upwards for next season.
Yeah, exactly. I think I just messed up the thing there, but yeah, you've driven brilliantly well. You and Oren were both on two warnings in the last stages, so it was very, very close between you two, and the pace in general was just so similar. But yeah, you drove fantastically. It would have been amazing to see you throughout the whole season. Yeah, I've messed this up because there's an AI. Give me a sec. Give me 1 sec. Will we do that again? Alright, but yeah, over the course of this second half of the season, you managed to bag 3 wins. I'm sure one of them is probably your favourite moment of the season, but that is my next question. What has been your favourite moment of this second half of the season for you?
Well, first of all, when I first joined, my aim was to get obviously as high up the table as possible. I was aiming for about P7ish, so to get P5, that is for me really impressive considering how far back I was. But I'd say the biggest highlight for me was probably winning Abu Dhabi, because that is arguably my best track on the F1 games, so I always know I'll always have the race pace and quali pace, so I'd say that was the highlight, along with all the other wins and podiums over the season.
There we go. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, obviously Abu Dhabi was a great drive from you. So yeah, 5th place, a bit higher than expectations. It really did close Aston and Williams and RB and Haas, the top main 4 teams this season, even closer. And obviously Toby as well ended on a decent-ish result. He had a hell of a race from the back. Well, he was the one who caused the safety car.
Yeah.
So yeah, very well done this second half of the season. You can be very proud of that. Yannick, thank you for waiting, mate. It's a podium to end off the season there. You were mighty in qualifying, fighting Oren. You're, I think, the only one who could have challenged for pole besides him to get that front row. You stuck with him in the first half. The gap was getting a bit bigger. What happened in the stops? Was it just a matter of the delta to lose out to Samurai, or?
Yeah, I think it was because when the safety car came out, it was right at the pit lane, so he immediately went in there, and I still had the delta until Oren overtook the safety car. So I think that was the difference there, because I did push through the pits, but I was still far behind.
So yeah, and then obviously the restart happened, and you got to see the front two fight it out a bit, had a bit of a front row seat. And then you started to see Samurai struggle a little, but obviously before then you had a little fight with Fnatic, and then you obviously got ahead of Samurai in the end. I guess in the background there was still that fight for second with RB and Williams, and because of you, you've managed to hang on to that, so very well done for that. And obviously you've managed to hang on to fourth in the standings, so it's been a standout, stellar season for you, a big improvement from last. And I guess same question from Vinay. Has there been a favourite moment this season from you? How happy are you with your performance to get fourth in the drivers, second in the constructors for your team?
I think my favorite moment has to be the pole in Vegas, because I didn't really expect to get a pole anywhere. And yeah, to get it there with quite a big margin as well was a great feeling. And yeah, the whole season was pretty good, of course. I'm happy with all the podiums I got, the consistent results. And yeah, happy that I got RB into P2, even though I hoped maybe we had a chance to win the constructors. But yeah, it's not a big deal for me. But yeah, overall I'm happy.
Indeed. So yeah, very well done on P3, as we see the new world champion doing donuts on the start-finish straight. He's even good at donuts, to be fair to him. As for Oren's interview, I might have to go to Discord real quick to talk to him. Again, don't know if that'll be included. But yeah, as for now, very well. He's doing a reverse lap. Okay. Very well done, Yannick, on P3 and ending the season on a high. Very well done to Fnatic and ending the season on a even bigger high for you as well. Just fell short of... I think it's... Oren won by 6 points ahead of Samurai, and then Yannick, I think, was 6 points ahead of Fnatic in the end. So pretty similar gaps. But anyway, for you two, very well done. I'll just quickly finish with Samurai before I go to Discord. Samurai, now there's been a little few minutes to reflect. You've again driven absolutely brilliantly. I know it must still hurt, but thoughts on this season? What have been your favourite moments, if there is a favourite moment, and how proud and happy are you with your performance this season?
Well, I think my favorite moment this season was my win in Japan. That's what surprised me a lot. And yeah, anyway, I'm proud of the whole season. Could have been better, but maybe next year.
Exactly, that's fair. And yeah, I mean, and to end off, thanks to you three in general for everything you've done this season, all the performances and commitment, and just liveliness you brought to the season. It's one to remember, so thank you very much, and I will catch you guys later. I'm going to quickly interview Oren in the Discord. Alright, I'll just wait for Oren to join. As he's having a bit of fun out there. Those are some great donuts as well. Great money shot. Here he is. The new Hello, the new Tier 2 Season 12 champion. Oren, you are the world champion, my friend. A big congratulations once again. And it's the double as well. You and Callum are Constructors champions. Do you want to get Callum in the thing as well? I don't know if you can message him as well. We may as well interview Callum as well. He's been a big help and part of that as well. Great donuts, by the way, as you've taken it all in. Is it sinking in now? Just all the pressure that may have been there from season 9, all the comments maybe. Something like that, yeah. You've been one of the most decorated drivers we've ever had in Tier 2, so for you to not win this would be crazy, considering you'd have all those records of most wins without a championship, most poles, most podiums, most whatever, without... I've got a lot of work to do now to change those records, so thanks for that. But you have driven spectacularly all season. Yeah, there was a few lower towards the end, but today you reminded us all why you're in this position, why you deserve this. That was the drive of a champion, and I'm sure... Well, I asked the other three what their favourite moment has been. I'm sure you obviously have a favourite moment now, but over the course of this season, you can pick a few. What have been your few favourite moments this season? Best achievements, best moments, etc.? That is very true. Yeah. Well, no. Well, on 26, I think we can get a few more seasons in the Netherlands if it is asked for the calendar, because it's obviously on this year. So, but 27 onwards, yeah, obviously won't be there. It really has. Yeah, I said redemption stories are starting to be a bit more common now, because obviously we had Josh, the season 4 runner-up, 3 years later, win in season 10 or season X, and then obviously you, the runner-up in season 9, 1.5 years later, become the new champion. Does it still sound weird that you're the new Tier 2 world champion? Mm. Yeah, exactly. It's just the true strength of a champion. Obviously, you don't want to think about it, but then when it gets close and close, it's impossible not to think about it. But you got your head down. Maybe the pressure was slightly there, but you obviously overcame it right to the end. And it's not just today that won you it. It's obviously over the course of this season. And yeah, I mean, the last time we had a safety car was Italy, where you delivered that masterclass of a race on older tyres to win. This is vintage Oren right here. This is probably maybe the most important race, most important win you've ever done, perhaps. So what is that overall? 16 poles, 17 wins, 9 in season 9, 8 this season for wins. Poles, I think it's 9 that season, 7 this season. So slightly lower this time around, but obviously had a bit more to think about and fight with. And obviously there were quite a few, other than Samurai, of course, who took the fight to you. There were quite a few contenders this season who really showed you up. You even said, how did people get so good after Netherlands? Hmm. Exactly, and Callum has now joined the Discord interview call. Callum, are you there, mate? Hello, mate. So, we have the new team for the Constructors Champions in Tier 2 Season 12. Oren, who was part of Aston, who were runner-up in Season 9. Callum, who was part of Haas, who were third in Season 8. They've now got their just rewards of deserved and a bit of redemption there as well. Yeah, Oren, Callum, you are the new Constructors Champions as well. Heading into this race, it did look like you pretty much had one hand on it anyway, but obviously thanks to one another for their great drives, you've managed to achieve this. So obviously I've been talking with Oren, and he's obviously the new Drivers' Champion as well, but Callum, that must feel pretty good as well to end the season caning that achievement too. Yeah, exactly. And in terms of helping Oren as much as you could, obviously you had Samurai behind you. I think you did everything you possibly could have, and maybe even a little more with the slight tap at turn 1. Um, Completely accidental. That's fair enough. Nah. Yeah, you drove. You drove as fair as possible. And then you had a little fight with Dello and Toby and whatnot. And yeah, thanks to the pens and whatnot. So you finished 6th in the end, right? Oh, 5th. Oh, right, yeah. Oh, okay, never mind then. 5th or 6th or whatnot. Yeah. So yeah, it's still a strong end to the season. This second half, I think you can probably put better than the first. Yeah. Yeah, you've definitely shown some great results. Obviously, that front row, some great podiums, some great races overall. A lot of points racked up as well, over 100 and whatnot. It's been great from you, and obviously, you've been one of the key drivers to win this constructors as well. It's always great to see who is the best team that comes out by the end. Because at the start of the season, we all thought, well, I especially thought Samurai and Birdie looked best, but obviously Birdie hadn't had the greatest run in the first half. And it was a bit too late, and it would have been nice to see what he could have done today as well. But I think this is the kind of final twist. You and Oren have obviously seen a lot of back and forth. A lot of the times it's been Oren versus 2 Williams, and today it was kind of the opposite of that, of 2 Astons versus 1 Williams. With the RBs as well, it's been back and forth. So you two very much deserve that as well. And yeah, Oren, any thoughts on... I mean, it must be just satisfaction, really, but any thoughts on winning the double as well, Constructors Champion as well? I'll quickly ask Callum the same question I've asked the others as well. Callum, if you had to pick a favourite moment from this season, what would it be? Singapore quali. Great choice. What was both your reaction as well to loading in and seeing it was a wet quali as well? And I guess the main reaction question, what was the reaction like, Oren, when you crossed the line for the final time? Someone there? Hi, mate. Yeah. Jeez. So if Oren's audio isn't included, he basically said he didn't realise it was the last lap until the checkered flag bit came up and he crossed the line. He was that focused and locked in, which is completely fair. Fair play. But yeah, what are we at? 101 minutes, hour 40 or something. This is a long stream. But fair enough. That has been Tier 2 in Season 12. And you are looking at the new Season 12 Tier 2 Drivers and Constructors Champion. Oren's done it then. Redemption has been completed. Another story in the books. Another chapter written. And in terms of the books of EXFL seasons, this is the final race for Tier 2 of this current era of cars. We began back in Season 5 with these on 22. And yeah, 3 and years later, ending on F125. Obviously, the DLC will come out in a couple of weeks, and we will begin on the new 26 cars. That'll be quite interesting to see how that plays out. We'll see what happens with driver moves and shifts and what happens with that. But for now, what is done, what is decided. There was only one little iffy moment throughout the whole race, ignoring your hit on Samurai, Callum. There was one moment where I thought this might not get decided now, and it was when Fnatic got past Yannick at turn 2. He kind of shoved Yannick off the track, and I didn't know if that might be like a 5-second for forcing off gaining an unfair advantage. So if Fnatic actually did overtake you, Oren, and win the race, meaning Samurai would have been champion, Fnatic may have got a penalty post-race, meaning you would have been champion instead. So I was thinking, okay, at this rate, it's down to Oren to not only make this right, but make it look good as well, because obviously we don't want it decided post-race. So and Fnatic finished 5.020 ahead of Yannick. So even if he got a pen, nothing changes. Thank goodness. But yeah, I guess to end, you could do some more donuts if you want, Oren. But yeah, big thank you. I said this to these guys as well. Big thank you to you two, and mainly you, Oren, for just putting on such a show this season. If you're doing donuts, the bloody camera angle is terrible. There we go. Big thank you for putting on this great show, fighting along with the rest, making this season one to remember. It's been great. And if you have any final words, I don't know if the stream again will pick it up, but do you have any final message for either Samurai or your team or this season or whatnot? Yeah, if Oren's audio isn't included, he basically said it was insane that that Samurai came back from that point gap, and he said well done to him for all he's achieved. But that has been it then. Obviously Tier 1 finale as well tomorrow, and Tier 2 is done. We're wrapped up. Season 12 is complete. Oren is the new champion. Aston are Constructors champions. Well done to Oren and Callum, and thank you to everyone who's tuned in, watched the races, raced in the races. and been along for the journey. So we'll see you on the F126 DLC and all of that to be unfolded. So hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.